My name's Jessica Cryer. I'm a strategic advisor and consultant at Customer Service Professionals Network, or as many of you know us as CSPN, and I'm excited over the next couple minutes to take you through my thoughts on customer journey mapping and the process that we go through to help our customers not only understand, but build a customer experience for the future. So often when clients come to us, the conversation around journey mapping starts with what's the difference between a journey map and a process map? And I think this is the perfect place to start the conversation. When you think about what a process map is, really that's understanding the customer interactions from an internal point of view. And so your team often maps out what are the different touch points that the customer has with your internal organization using language that's reflective of the company. And so it takes away the customer perspective of the entire experience. But not to say that process maps don't have value to the organization. These are often used and developed by teams with a Lean Six Sigma background, and it gives you an opportunity to understand holistically what that end-to-end process looks like and how we can start to optimize and make the interactions more efficient. So knowing what a process map looks like, then we start to think through what's an experience map. And a customer experience map takes away the interactions and it looks solely at what are the customer emotions that they have as they start to interact with your organization. And where journey mapping comes in is it blends or it marries the two. It's truly looking at the process side of it, so mapping out the customer touch points or interactions and then overlaying their experiences. And so what you start to see is not only how the customer interacts with your organizations from their perspective, but what are they feeling at each of those touch points? Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they frustrated? And from there you start to have a clear understanding not only of what's working and what's not working, but you can start to dissect what that experience truly looks like and start to envision what it needs to be for the future. So when clients come to us and they want to start building out the customer journey map for their organizations, there's three things that we like to look at from an experience point of view. So it starts with, what are your customers' perception of your organization or your company? Where does it begin? How do they hear about you? How do they feel about you? And then from there, we start to examine or look at what are the different interactions that they have with your organization. How do they get onboarded into your company? What is the process from onboarding to existing customer? And then from there, finally, we look at what is the recollection. And so really what a customer journey map does, and as we start to build it out, it allows us to look at the perception, interaction, and the recollections, and mapping out the entire process and experiences surrounding those three verticals. When you're building out what your customer journey map, I think a lot of the times people become overwhelmed, and especially if you're a large organization and you step back and you think we have a lot of product lines, we have a lot of different customers, there's a lot of different ways that customers can interact with us. How do we go about doing this, and how do we take what seemingly is a daunting task and really boil it down and drive a product that's going to be productive and effective within the organization? And so the first thing that we need to do is recognize that there's a large world out there of how customers interact, but let's scale it down and let's look at what interactions and what journey do we want to map. And so is there a specific product or service line that we want to focus on? And then within that product and service line, is there a specific customer persona that we can start to bring to life and we can start to map through this process? So once we've zoned in and we've focused on those two aspects, that's where we go out and we actually collect the data. And data collection can be as small as leveraging any existing assets that you have in the organization. So any customer surveys, customer reports, customer feedback. Or you could take it as far as doing customer focus groups and truly understanding what that experience is that they have with your organization. So now that we have what we want to map, our customer personas that we want to reflect, and the data that we need in order to map it, this is where we actually go about building the customer journey map. And so there's a lot of great software tools that we have out there that we can leverage. So you can translate your journey map into a digital map, which is fantastic when you're in an organization where it needs to continually be updated. There's other ways that we can start to build it out as well. Oftentimes we leverage designers and we create beautiful large scale images of what this customer journey looks like, but it really depends on the objective and the purpose of journey mapping. And so when you start to kind of boil down what it is that you're trying to do, really it's that upfront piece of identifying not only what product or service line that you're looking to map, but what customer personas you want to reflect, and then understanding what are the different touch points and the emotional overlay the customer has with your organization. So now that you've gone through the process of building out that customer journey map, one of the biggest takeaways that you're going to get from it is uncovering opportunities to elevate or enhance the customer experience. And so as you go through that process and you start to find breakpoints within the customer journey, naturally a breakpoint can translate into an opportunity. And so what you're going to start to see are what are customer-centric opportunities that you can do to elevate your customer experience. And this becomes a really eye-opening exercise when you start to bring together cross-functional teams within your organization and go through and think through what are the ways that you can enhance your customer experience. And so imagine this, you walk out of your session or you walk out your engagement of developing a customer journey map. You have a list of opportunities to take that customer journey to the next level. And the next step from there is starting to prioritize. And so you start to think through what are the low-hanging fruit or the quick wins that you can do to elevate that customer experience versus what are more of the long-term strategic initiatives that may take time, may take more resources, investment from a people, process, technology perspective. But longer term, those are really what's going to take you from a unique or differentiated customer experience to one that's a futuristic one, if you will. So what I want to talk about right now is what are the steps that you take to actually build the journey map. And so we talked a little bit about what the process was to getting to the point where you actually construct the journey map. So that was understanding what it is that you wanted to map, the personas, and then gathering the data. But now what do you do with all of that? And so this is where it really gets fun. And this is where you start to bring together a cross-functional team of people within your organization to sit down and leverage design thinking principles to understand what that customer journey mapping looks like. And so what does that mean, leverage design thinking principles and bringing a cross-functional team of people together? And one of the best ways to do this is through a workshopping exercise and leveraging the power of simple tools like Post-it notes, Sharpie markers, lots of visual aids, and understanding and mapping out not only that touch point layer of the customer experience, but then as you go through each touch point, start to think about what are the emotions that the customer has. And so let's capture the emotions in one color of sticky notes, capture the touch points in another, capture the opportunities in another. And what you walk away with at the end of this is a multi-perspective of the entire customer experience. It's an engaging activity where you can bring together many people in your organization and you get them thinking, what does the experience really look like from the customer point of view? And so to me, all the upfront work to get to this point is extremely necessary and required, but this is really where the magic happens when you start to bring together all these people and you truly understand and uncover what that customer experience looks like from the customer point of view. We've had the privilege of working with a number of customers and a number of organizations to help them realize not only what their customer experience is today, but where they need to take it to elevate their future customer experience. And we've done this in a number of ways, everything from one-day interactive and engaging workshops to longer-term consulting projects or initiatives where we truly dissect and understand where we are today and the opportunities to get us to the future. And so we are always looking forward to the opportunity to work with you to help you realize and bring to life the customer experience that you have in mind.